All right, folks, we're just going to go ahead and dive in. I think I recognize some names as the same as last week, but just one more time before we get carried away. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly. All right, perfect. Good, 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 good. It's always good before I start rambling on for 10 minutes. You guys can't hear me. All right, so we're going to cover a couple of things. Last time we did more of kind of a broad overview, basic coverage of landing pages, squeeze pages, some of these things that you're able to build and customize more or less and send it off to your database. Some of the first things we're going to dive into today is the AI functionality. All right. It's full incorporated now. They're going to continue to do more additions with KV Core with incorporating video, AI-based automatic voice. And now for me, it gets a little bit on the weird side if somebody's calling on behalf of me sounding like me. I don't know if I'm going to go down that route, but at least for script editors, generators, scripts for your emails. That way, I like to always encourage agents use it as a launch pad or a springboard, if you will. Don't necessarily just cut and paste, right? What we don't want to end up being is a world where everybody sounds exactly the same, right? Like it sounds like an AI script. You want to put your own spin, your unique flavor on it, and your own personality. Most of the people in your database should be someone within your sphere. Yes, there's the ability to generate leads and get people who don't even know that you existed. They just stumble across your page. But even with typed out text, it's going to showcase your personality and your tone. So you want that to be uniform when if they were to meet you or you were to schedule a phone call, it sounds like the same person, right? So you want to earn that trust by making sure you're genuine in how you present yourself and how you kind of posture yourself online. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and share screens and we'll get logged in here. Now, if you haven't done so already, this is not a KV core tip. This is just more of a general real estate life tip utilizing some form of AI, whether it's ChatGPT, whether you're using Gemini, whether you're using anything that is provided by your brokerages. Some brokerages are coming out to. Um, Highly recommend. Now, I'm a big user of ChatGPT, also Google Gemini. Both are interchangeable and just kind of personal brand what you're going to use. Now, ChatGPT is the backbone of the KV Core platform with the automatic kind of text generators that you're able to build in. Okay, so that's what we're going to be using. So I always have it. If you have KV Core open, what I highly recommend is you always have ChatGPT opened and starting as well. Now, a couple of things. There's the free version, $20 a month, right? I know in this current economy, it's like death by a thousand cuts. It's $10 for this, $15 for that, $20 for this. It does add up. But if you're to take a healthy audit of where you want to leverage and invest your money, or to at least give you that ability to be more productive, $20 a month for something like ChatGPT, I think is well worth it in terms of what your monthly hourly output could be leveraging a tool like this versus the hours you may spend trying to, come up with these ideas yourself. Okay. So if you haven't done so already, just try the free version of ChatGPT. I think you'll quickly realize it does pay for itself in just a few hours of utilizing it for the $20 a month. But you could also have access to it within your KV Core. Okay, so starting from the dashboard. Now, I know dashboards sometimes can be a little bit customized and changed. I always tell people there's really two versions of KV Core that exist. There's the version that any kind of person could go and buy, whether you're a real estate agent or not, right? Just go and get KV Core, direct access, and you can start paying in tiers for the different options that it could provide, right? You may have a very stripped down version of KV Core where all it is contact management, automatic emails. That's all you have access to. Others have it featured through their brokerage. I know that there are a lot of large brokerages, national size brokerages that use KV Core. And same thing, they may have throttles on it where you have access to some things, but not everything. So if I remember doing something, like, what do you mean? I don't see how to get to that. Feel free to send me a private message. But I'm willing to bet the reason why you don't have access to it is either the brokerage level has removed that for you, or you're on a version of the platform that doesn't have all of the bells and whistles. And we're going to see even on my ends, there's options to pay for upgrades. Okay, so it just kind of depends on when you want to make those pays. We all though should have access to the Smart CRM, Okay. And within your smart CRM, you're going to have all of your people. Now, I have a couple of KB cores I log into. This is the one that I use for training and coaching because it's representative of an agent who's kind of just getting started with the system, right? Notice there's just 37 people in here, right? So most of the time, people are trying to get into KB Core. They may be trying to a different CRM out. So that's why I like using this version because it isn't set up. It doesn't have all of the tools ready to go. So you kind of see it be built out as if one, if you're a new agent, or two, newer to the system. Maybe your brokerage has provided KB Core for the past couple of years and you're finally starting to use it, right? That's what this is going to be indicative of. Okay. So once you go to your smart CRM, on the left-hand side, you have your toolbars, right? I'll try to zoom in as much as I can. I'm going to click smart CRM. It's going to bring me to this page here where I could see all of my people. And last time, if you were in this class, we discussed the importance of sorting and utilizing hashtags, right? Because the goal of this is not just to be a back burner system where somebody uses you, they close, you have their email, you have their phone number, and you drip on them, 8 times a year of like, hey, happy Thanksgiving, and here's the anniversary of your house, right? That is the bare minimum of what this system is meant to do. The system is supposed to generate you more business through your sphere and through leads. And in order to learn how to foster those, I highly recommend you utilize your hashtags. Okay. So when we talked last time, building landing pages, if I was going to send a landing pages of all the homes listed below $600,000 in a specific part of town, right? And I want to post that on my social media or post it on the website itself, anybody who clicks or seems somewhat interested in that, I want to find that group of people. I don't want them just to end up in my main database. I have no idea where they came from. So that's where you're going to use hashtags. Okay. So again, just kind of a reinforcement of why hashtags are so important. Okay. I'm going to go right here. And this is me, Jimmy Garcia. I signed up I clicked on, that was an active lead because I clicked on something that we saw. Okay. Thanks for visiting the site. So this property came up. I clicked on it. Now, an automatic text came out to me and said, hey, Jimmy, thanks for visiting our site. This is all the things that are on default mode. The whole point of it being on default mode is for you to then come in and fill in the rest. And that's where we're going to get into the actions here. Okay, the actions here. A couple of actions we're going to do. I'm a huge proponent of trying to get somebody on the phone, at the very least. If you can't get them on the phone, then follow up with text. Can't get them via text. Worst case scenario, email. But the need of human connection is real, folks. I know we live in an age where everybody's hiding behind phones. I promise you, get them on the phone if you can, then text. Okay, so let's say I wanted to call myself, call Jimmy. I'm gonna hit a new call. Now, what's nice is down at the bottom here, I have this smart assistant call script. Okay, smart assistant call script. I'm going to click on that. And I have a couple of default ones. Welcome script, a check-in, a follow-up, ask, and I'm going to click on this so you can see, crafting a script. And then after we have this generated, I'll show you a custom. Okay, introduction. Hi, whoever this is whoever it is from the office, right? Can you tell me more about the areas? What is your budget? What is your motivation? Now, you could also go in and type in the things that you want to pull out of the conversation. What is your goal of the conversation? So let's say that this lead came from an open house. They came in with a group of people. They scanned the QR code. You didn't get a good chance to really talk to them, but you saw them in the open house, and I want to follow up with that. Well, you could go ahead and type in your own individual prompts of what you want the script to generate for you. Okay, so create a script, let's say. Visiting a open house. Now, if you could, same day, but let's say tomorrow, then and provide more information about the home and other properties that are similar in the area. Okay, that's the goal. I want to have an excuse to reach out to this person to thank them for coming to the open house. Again, best practice is try to get that same day. But let's say it was yesterday, right? It took place on Sunday. You're calling them on Monday. And the goal is thank you. Here's some more details about the property. But also, as you know, both know, most of the time open houses aren't the reason they're going to sell. They're usually looking for some properties. I want to get them details of properties that are similar to this open house in the area. So I'm going to hit regenerate response. And there we go. And now we have all these questions to go through. Okay. What are the next steps? What are the closing? Now, if I let me click out of this, go back to my Smart Assistant script, custom prompts. You could also, which is nice, I can't do it since I'm on this this Zoom. You could also speak to it. Okay. So if I want to not type all this out, I could click on this button and tell, this is via powered through ChatGPT, but KV Core essentially, tell KV Core, this is what I'm trying to accomplish with this phone call. Please generate a script that highlights this, this, this. I also want to be able to follow up with them with an in-person meeting, structure response that could the highest likelihood to generate a positive response to an in-person meeting. Those are the kind of things you want to have a conversation with, okay, and build on top of that. So it's been really nice to see KV Core evolve over the past, 7 to 8 years, but really in the past 3 years, where they're starting to incorporate more of these AI tools. So this is a fantastic one. It hopefully should remove a little bit of the phone fear. I know a lot of people are scared of getting in the phones, but if you just go in with a solid game plan and you could customize the script for the individual. Now, what they're going to do hasn't been released yet, but I know an upgrade that's going to happen is that it's going to create a smart script. Let me close out of this. Let's look at somebody else who, routinely lead. And let's go into Colleen here. Okay. So total property views 25, right? Colleen's looked at 25 properties. I'm going to hit new call. I'm going to hit smart assistant and just a follow up. Okay. Right now, let's watch what it crafts here. And again, if you are able to follow along, I highly encourage you. Okay, pretty generic, right? Kind of pretty generic script here. You go and customize this. What is going to be released is that the script is going to be based on what their actions are as a lead, right? So, hey, Colleen, I saw that you looked at these 3 properties last week that were in this price points. Here is another couple of properties that are very similar to this, right? So the AI is going to be, eventually incorporated where it's going to build on top of what that lead is actually doing, instead of just kind of generic of, okay, hey, thank you. Have you had a chance to think about what property you're looking for, or when are you planning on, right? Now you could do that manually. Okay, you could do that manually by going down. Let me minimize this real quick. Okay. We could go through and I could either go to the alerts, okay, and copy and paste all of these. I could also, let me open her back up, go to my general timeline, and I want to look at all the properties saved, which is case now, let's go to viewed, all property views. Okay. And I can also scroll through and copy and paste all of this. And now that allows me to create a script based on these actions, based on the activities here. So if I want to go through and say, okay, build me a script, a call script that highlights, let's say three or four of the properties that the lead viewed in the past, I don't know, whatever it may be, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Okay. So that's a manual way to get around that. But eventually there is going to be a way where it's going to sync all of that information. ChatGPT or KV Core is going to know what the activities are, and it will prompt you, hey, make this phone call and say this based on their actions, which is going to be pretty cool. Okay. All right. So that is the audio one. Just one more time, I'll keep it very simple for folks just so we don't get too lost. Okay, so how did I do that? I went to the left-hand side. We went to Smart CRM. We clicked on whichever lead we're thinking about. So let's say we didn't do Colleen. You click on the new call and you're going to see Smart Assistant call script. Okay. This should be on everybody's database. This is an extra paid feature. This is the bare minimum. You should have access to this. If you do not have the ability to hit new call, that means they unsubscribed and they put themselves on like the do not call. Okay. So if they tell you like never call me again and they flag that, don't stop calling, you're not going to see that option. So that's the only reason you not see it. But if you can call the person, you will see Smart Assistant call script right there. Okay. Another AI tool that's pretty fun to use is I'm going to go over here to myself that registered as just a brand new lead who happened to click on this. Okay. This is back in July 16th. I got this text. I'm going to hit send text. I also have the ability to do a Smart Assistant text as well. Okay. And they have these built-ins, right? A general check-in. Property needs. And you could create your own prompt. Okay. Pre-approval, schedule a call. And this goes directly from your number, which could be your smart number. That's going to be a text message sent to them automatically. All right. Another cool feature with the AI is you have send a text, and you may have already seen this, the very, very low right here, core video. Okay, core video. Now, here's going to be a paid feature. When I do a core video, I'm able to record a new video directly through this template, and it's going to automatically go as an email. Okay, it's going to go as an email, and I can send a video message. Now, if I want to create as a text message, this is where it's going to upgrade to your premium. And I'll verify with you, but I'm pretty sure it's either $30 or $39 a month. In fact, we could probably find out. Let's click on it. I think it's 30. If I click on upgrade to premium, it should tell us how much that feature costs. Let's see, it's 39. Okay, $39 a month. Think of your own use case. I'm going to stop sharing just so the spotlight can be on me for a second. We all live and die by these devices, most of us, right? In your own personal day-to-day lives, what would you be more inclined to view? A video that came via email, okay, or a video that came via text? I think most of us would answer, this is rhetorical, don't feel free to have to answer. Most of us would answer maybe both, at the very least, curiosity, right? We're a very curious species. We're like, what is this, right? I just want to see it. Whether you respond or not, I want to see it. Now, what's nice about doing it through the system, because there's nothing stopping you from right now doing a video on your phone and just texting from your phone, but you don't know if they opened it, right? Unless they have their read receipts on, and that's assuming you're also having it on an iPhone going to an iPhone, right? But let's say you're sending a video to an Android device for all the horrible people. I'm just kidding, for Android lovers out there. You're an Android person, that's a joke. But if I, as an iPhone user, decide to send you a video, depending on the size of the video, you might not even get it, or it's going to come all jumbled up, and I'm not going to know if you read it. What's nice about this is that it is through BombBomb, and they will notify you that they viewed the video. You know, what's really cool is that let you know how long do they watch it. Okay, so if you see somebody that just clicked on it and they're like, yeah, 2 seconds, I'm out, I'm over it. Maybe not as much of a hot lead, or they viewed it for 2 seconds, came back to a couple hours and viewed it in its entirety. That's when you get some of the value. So let's put the screen back up here. So again, I like to tell it, folks, I don't work for KB Core. I'm not a commission employee for them. I'm not telling you what to buy or not buy. As somebody who's trying to figure out their own financial lives, I understand. There's a million things you could pay for, $20 for ChatGPT, another $40 for this, right? It does add up, but really kind of sit back and say, okay, what are the tools and resources that I can get the best bang for my buck? Now, if you buy this and you're like, I'm not sending video and text messages, then it's not worth it. The great thing is that last I checked, let me see if it's confirmed here. I'm pretty sure you could cancel at any time. It's not one of those where it's $39 a month, but you got to buy the entire month or the entire year all front. So you could, be able to use it, okay, and give it a 30-day trial. Worst case scenario, you spent $40, but if you don't like it, you go back, okay? So how did I get to that page? Again, once I was in my Smart CRM, when I clicked on an individual lead, in this case, we're using myself, and I went to send, KB Core or Core Video. Again, everybody has the ability to do this right now for free. the email version. If I want to hit text, that's when it's going to upgrade the premium. Okay. Now, let me close out of this. One thing that hasn't incorporated yet in the core video is a video script. So that's why I said always go back to your baseline ChatGPT, because I could build my video script that I want to have. Now, if you want to get around that and stay in KB Core, you could do it as an email template, right? So let's say I'm going to send an email and I'm going to hit Smart Assistant. Okay. I could type in create a video script and then just see that. I'm not going to send it as an actual email. I'm just going to use it for this right here. Okay. And then go in and to the core video and be able to read from there. But I recommend just do it right here. Okay. Do it right here. Now, another side tip that, again, for iPhone users, there are free teleprompter apps. And I'm sure there's some on Android. I apologize. I don't know those off the top of my head. But one I'll tell you right now that I like to use. And it reads very, very, very basic. You could do it on your iPad. You could do it on your iPhone. You could also do it on your Mac device. I'm sure Android has the exact same thing. It's teleprompter, but there's a million of them. Teleprompter, and it's mirror text and script for video. Mirror text and script for video teleprompter. So I can copy and paste that. That way it looks like I'm looking at the camera. Let's say I have my iPhone right here and I could be reading this, if this was a script, but I'm making that direct eye contact. Hopefully I don't have to tell you that direct eye contact means something, even in this class, even though we're via Zoom. I wanted you to tell the difference. Imagine if the entire time I spoke and I'm just over here and I'm just looking down like this, right? As opposed to if I get in the camera, I'm like, look, here's why you really need to do this. It's connecting more, right? It's like I'm looking directly at you. That's a real thing. Psychology is a real thing. We connect when we make eye contact with people. So when I'm sending a video message, if I'm sending a video text message, do as best you can to make that direct eye contact, especially when you're doing the text message, because it should be personalized. When you send a general video email out to the entire database, even though the email says, hey, Ann, hey, John, hey, Bobby, right? It's not as personalized. The people could tell it's just kind of a generic thing. Versus if I was going to send you a personalized text video of like, hey, Ann, thank you so much for coming to this class. Really enjoyed that you were there. Here are the follow-up tips, right? It's more personalized. So those video text messages really pull out that connectiveness, if you will, of our humanity to feel like, okay, this person actually may have my best interest or cares. Okay. So I'll type the app inside the chat right now. Somebody just asked teleprompter. But if you type in teleprompter, a bunch of them are going to come up. So look for teleprompter and then the subheading, which is this mirror text and script or video. And it's nice because you're able to control the speed, right? You want to go really fast, you want to go really slow. All right, that's just a side tip for the video people. All right, another AI tool. We did the AI tool for voice scripts. We saw the core video. You could also do it via email. Use Smart Assist. Now, I could also do this. Let me get out of here. If I want to send, okay, if I want to send a mass email, let's say that I'm going to select all 37, or if I filter through my hashtags, that all buyers in my database, everybody is listed as a buyer, and I want to send a mass email or mass text. I'm going to hit email. Oops. And I can go ahead and hit Smart Assistant. So even for my mass actions, I have the ability to go in and use my Smart Assistants to create a mass email for all of these folks. So let me go ahead and do this. Use Smart Assistant. Promote a listing. Okay. And now I can go in and fill in the rest, right, directly from here. Now, I'm going to get in the soapbox one more time here. Don't just send this as is. Do not just send this as is. Go through and say, okay, do I really say that? Do I really say, I hope this email finds you well? Is that how I typically communicate? If not, remove that, right? You want to always make sure you put your own personality on these type of automatic generated messages. That way it doesn't seem too robotic or too AI based. It does come off like you, right? Now, those of you who are really deep in your KV Core and database management system, let me close out of this. All of these people, right? You're going to be able to filter, go into your contact details, and one of the items, oops, you have your buyer, seller, renter, vendor, agent. One of your contact details, create if they're family, create if they're Sphere. If you're a Buffini system user, right? Buffini has A, B's, C's, and D's, right? You could filter them that way. All of your A's, people that are going to buy and sell within the 12 months, or anybody who talks about real estate, they're always championing your name. B's, anybody who's past 12 months, maybe kicking the tires this, right? C's, they're still in your sphere, but they're not going to convert, nor do they appreciate your name. I tell everybody all the time, my mom is a C in my database, not because she's a C person, she's an A plus in my life, but she's never going to buy or sell. And she's not one of those people that if anybody talks about real estate, she's more of an introvert. She's not gonna be like, oh, you should talk to my son. She's not gonna do that, right? So she's a C. So don't think of C's as like people you don't really like. No, they can still be an A in your life, but it's C in terms of real estate business, right? So your A, B's, and C systems there. You can do those ratings with this. Why? I always go back to the basics of building your databases. When you start to use the AI tools for your mass emails, instead of just generic to all of these different people, I could customize to my A's, I customize to my B's, customize to my C's, and build in a unique, your own template, okay, based on all of that. Or each time, copy and paste whatever that prompt is there. Before we're about 30 minutes in, any questions, and feel free to put them inside of the chat with what we've covered thus far on just the AI functionality tools. So everybody know how to get there, all that stuff. Yeah, Tim, thanks for putting that in the chat. Okay. And there are no questions. You feel free to put them in the chat later on as well. We'll always circle back to that. Just want to make sure that we're all clear on what we've covered thus far. Okay. So again, one more time from the top. Smart CRM. Open up a contact. Go to your texts or calls, and you always see your Smart Assistant call script. You see your Smart Assistant text and your Smart Assistant email. Okay. Now, when I click on Plus MLS, somebody asked that in a previous class I was teaching. This is just any of the properties that you either built a search for, or a lot of times it's going to come from properties that they have looked at. So I could say, hey, I think this is a property. You may like this listing. It automatically goes. Okay. You could also type in your own. Now, here's where you're going to see a little bit of a difference between what KV Core can do and what your KV Core can do. Sometimes if it's brokerage provided, you're only going to see your active listings or the listings of the brokerage only. I can't just put a random MLS ID number. So talk to your tech support team on your brokerage if that is the case. But yeah, let's say there is a listing by another brokerage. You may not be able to put that functionality in here, and that's just a brokerage throttle system. I don't know why, but that's just something that does happen. So you may only see listings that are within your brokerage that you're able to promote that way. Okay. All right. Let's go into a little bit more of the weeds here. And another tool that I think is not utilized very well. Okay. If I go over here, we're going to go to our web and IDX. Okay. Our web and IDX. We're going to go to our pages. You don't believe how many times an agent says, yeah, I use KV Core. And then one of the first things I do is go over to see, okay, have they customized any of their websites? Because if not, it usually is just the generic website, very, very generic websites, right? Which is this one right here. And I'll show you. When I go to my generic website, oops, this is cookie cutter. I haven't done anything to this. Okay. Hey, let's find your dream. A little bit about me, about the brokerage. It has these things. It incorporates, if you have reach 150, your reviews, things like that. So it means fine. It's just, cookie cutter-ish. Home valuation. What's your home worth? Want to go back to the about us, your agent profile. This is going to be listings of your brokerage. Not really much else. Okay, not really much else. So once you have your database more or less filtered, you have your ABCs, your one, two, threes, however you rate your system, your buyers, your sellers, the time frame they are. The next thing to really work on to get a good handle on your system is creating your pages. Now I'm going to lose some of you here because we're going to talk about how custom you can get. Okay. If I hit create a custom page, again, one more time, how did I get here? Web IDX on the left-hand side, I clicked on pages. Once in pages, I clicked on create custom page. Create custom page. I could drag and drop, an image, a button, a divider. I could put my social medias. I could upload or embed a video, right? Do all these things. Now, another thing you have the ability to do is put in your own code. Now, I don't know how many of you code, but here's a great thing. You don't need to, okay? Utilizing a tool like ChatGPT could really help you. So again, this might lose some of you here. What I'm doing is this HTML block where I could copy and paste custom code to develop a page to be whatever I want. And I'm going to do that not by coding it myself, by leveraging a tool like ChatGPT. So I'm going to go over to ChatGPT here now, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to give it the prompt, okay? Just a complete side note. I like when you open up a new dialogue and ChatGPT says, "Hey, here are some things that actually explain nostalgia to kindergarten." That actually would be an interesting thing. How would you explain that? I don't even know if I can explain that nostalgia to an adult sometimes. All right, message ChatGPT. I'm going to tell create custom HTML code for a landing page on my real estate website that covers the top trending real estate news story in I am today in Richmond, but let's say, in a couple of months I'll be back after it cools down, I'll be back in Gilbert, Arizona. But for now, in Richmond, VA. Okay. And that's it. Just going to be very, very, very generic. And we can talk about how you can further customize on top of that. And hit enter. And now let's see what it does. It's going to say, okay, to create, it's going to give us what it's going to look like. It's going to break down. And now it's going to give us the actual code. Okay. So here's the custom HTML code for your landing page. Covers top trending real estate news stories in Richmond. Let's spit it out. And then while this is loading, if you put your attention to chat for all your Android users, Tim did put what the free teleprompt amps for Android are. Great useful information. Okay, so here's the code. I don't know what this says. I don't really know what this means unless you have somewhat of a background of computer science engineering. You don't need to. When I copy code, I'm going to go back to my KV Core. Now you have to delete this. See, it says I am a new HTML block. That's what that code is right there. All right, so you don't want that. So I want this gone, and I'm going to paste. And that's it. That's as simple as it is. And there we go. Now it gave me this trending real estate news in Richmond. The housing market sees steady growth, new developments in Scotts Addition, which I'm physically in Scotts Addition right now because it is growing. There's all these new things that are happening. Top neighborhoods for real estate investments. So here's how you could really start to get a nice handle of customizing your website truly. Now, these links are broken links. Again, I hope I don't lose any of you, but try to follow along here where it says read more. If I publish this, and I'll just show you, I'm going to hit save. I'm going to give it the title, Richmond Real Estate News, because it needs a title on our page, category, and I'll just create a new category, Real Estate News. Now, the slug The slug is this right here. This is what a slug means. When I go at the very, very top, you can see my mouse where it says kvcore.com. All of that is the slug. So after the dash create, it will say dash Richmond dash real estate news. Okay. Um, not to get too much in the weeds, but this is going to help with even SEO. If somebody were just to look up Richmond real estate news, could this be a searchable page? Probably not, because there's going to be some larger ones out there. Homes.com spends millions of dollars across the United States to become the top. But if you get enough visitors or incorporate enough keywords, then if somebody were just to look up Richmond news, Gilbert, Arizona news, Mesa, Arizona real estate news, this could be a page that would pop up if it is full of fresh content. Okay, so let me go back down here. Okay, I'm gonna hit save. I'm gonna hit publish, and we're gonna hit view. So this is what it looks like on the actual website now. I haven't changed anything. Okay. So again, I just gave basic instructions, didn't tell it any colors, didn't tell it anything else. Now here's the problem. What a lot of agents make the mistake is they copy and paste the code, but notice this goes nowhere. I'm going to get a 404 error. That's a broken link. 404 means broken link. So you'll notice if I zoom in over to the right-hand side here, you click and oops, contents. Okay, new developments in Scott's Edition. This is an example. This isn't a real website. So the only thing you will have to actually go in and manually type or manually put in are the true links. Okay, are the true links. So if I wanted to say real estate news, Virginia, Richmond, Scott's Edition, and I wanted to find a pretty good news story, whatever it may be, I'm just going to click on news. The parking spot battle. This is a big one. If anybody familiar with the Richmond area, everybody is fighting because there's no parking. Everyone's up in arms about it. So if I want to post on my website, hey, major parking update for Scott's Edition. Now, if I come in here, I copy that, and I'm going to click on this. You have to stay within the parentheses, delete everything within the parentheses, and paste. Now I have an actual link. When I click on read more, it's going to bring me over and open that up. Okay. Now, to avoid having to do that, when I developed this prompt, I could give it in this code, please include the following links for the news story. Right. And start putting in all the different type of news stories I want to find with those links. And now I have copy and paste code. Okay. Same thing. I know that this is an HTML class for ChatGPT, but just give you a high level overview. Maybe that's something we could schedule to do some more of this for KV Core. But I could also say I want it to have this colors. I want this type of fonts. I want the header. So remember, see how generic it is, right? I want the header to be this font and this size. I want the sub stories to have at least 5 sentences. You could be very specific in how you want it to create. So any of you, the brokerages that you're part of, whatever your brand colors are, if you know the hex number for your brand colors, or at least if it's blue, red, whatever it may be, if you want to be at least that, you go ahead and type all of that in and say, build me the code utilizing these colors, this font for the headers, this many sentences for the subtext, and these 4 links that are clickable. And then boom, it's going to create the code for you. Okay. Now I know once we start talking about code and things like that, it might be an air of mysticism around it, but it's very, very simple once you start to dive in. So one more time, I'm going to show you how do we do any of that. Starting from the left-hand side of the screen, I'm going to go to my web IDX right down here. From there, let me close this chat box. Sorry. From there, you're going to click on Pages. In Pages, you're going to click on Create Custom Page. Once you create a custom page, it's going to bring you to this screen where you can drag and drop things. But you'll see one of the options on the far right-hand side is HTML. Okay, HTML. So I copy and paste HTML. Once I click on this actual block, here's where I'm able to go ahead and type. Okay. Now, you don't have to answer, but an overwhelming majority of people that are searching the internet these days are doing it on which device? Phone or a computer, laptop, desktop? It's phone, right? So I could turn this off or I could keep it on, but in my chat, this is means hide on. So where would they see this? So they're going to see this on their mobile device. So they're going to see it only on their desktop. I'm going to leave it for both, but in my code, I'm going to tell it optimize for mobile view. Optimize for mobile view. I don't know how many times you guys have been to a website. I know I have been where it doesn't come out good on your phone. Perfect example is Flex MLS, right? The Flex app, but if I go to just Flex directly without the mobile version, it's horrible, right? And you got pinch and zoom, do all these things. So I want to tell a code. I want this to be more or less custom for the viewing on a mobile device. I can still leave it both on, so people still see it on both sides, but it's going to be coming up as more mobile friendly than not. Okay. Any questions about the HTML functionality? And one more time, you could also do this in Gemini. Okay, so if I go into Gemini, which is Google's, it was Bart, and then it turned Gemini, and who knows what's going to change the name. I could also log into Gemini here if you're a heavy Google user and do the exact same thing. I could tell Gemini, hey, create me HTML code. Okay, so if you're not a ChatGPT person, you could do it based right here. Okay. And any of you who have Gmails, I encourage you, try, utilize Gemini. They haven't released it fully yet for, if I hit compose email. Okay. This Google account is a workspace, Google Workspace account. And because of that and security reasons, they haven't fully incorporated Gemini to Workspace. But let me go to another Google account. Let me just go to like one of my spam accounts. Okay. And right up here, you see that's right there. That's Gemini. So Gemini is incorporated with Google. And it's very, very useful. So I can go into my email and say, hey, find me an email with this attachment, right? Find me an email that references this thing. Or let's say I have a long email. Somebody sent me a crazy long email. Let's see. I know like one of these. Okay, like here's this thing, right? Open this up. I could tell it. Can you summarize this email? What is it saying? And very simple, right? So Gemini's turned on for Google. So I encourage you, anybody who's a Google user, start learning Gemini as well. It's very, very similar to ChatGPT. It's a prompt-based system. Now, KV Core's AI is ChatGPT based. That's what it's built on. It's built on OpenAI's foundation. Okay, awesome. All right. Another aspect to websites that I see a lot of agents not taking advantage of with the Cookie Cutter website is when I go onto my pages, okay, and I go on to site contents. Okay, so now I'm in the site contents. I'm going to go to service areas and SEO. Service areas and SEO. I'm going to hit remove all from this because I want to show you. Let me refresh this page, what most agents' websites look like. Okay, so one more time from the top. We go to websites, website content, and you end up right here where you'll see testimonials, you'll see service areas and SEO. When I click on service areas and SEO with most agents, there's nothing here. No matches found, right? And that's not a good thing. That means if anybody searches for any property within your MLS area or any cities within your MLS, you're definitely not an option that's going to pop up as a website. So you could add the areas that you specialize in. So I can start typing like which area that I want. Oops. If I want to be specific in Richmond, I want Richmond Heights as a neighborhood? Do I want Richmond as a city? Do I want subdivisions? Okay. You can do it that way. At the very, very least, if I hit all cities in the MLS, it's going to do what? It's going to populate all cities in the MLS. Now, some of you like ARMLS people, ARMLS covers all sorts of things, right? And as we're shifting into this new world of real estate, I know at least for the state of Arizona, there's talks of having one statewide MLS. So right now we have PAR MLS, you got TAR MLS, you got, Northern Arizona MLS. There may be one statewide MLS, which means you're going to be covering cities that you might not even heard of, right? So that's when you could go in and go ahead and customize. So I hit all. Let me refresh the page. And now we should see them all pop in and go down to service areas, SEOs, and there they are, right? Every single possible city that's within the MLS. Now, a common question that I get is, all right, well, Jimmy, what is this? What are keywords? Okay. This is for your SEO, search engine optimization, search engine optimization. So I'm going to say homes for sale, comma. So that way, if somebody types in homes for sale and they say Abingdon, Virginia, this may be a site that will pop up. If I don't put any keywords, all I have is just Abingdon, Virginia. Condos for sale, right? You can put as many keywords as you want. This is where your expertise in the specific areas is going to come to light, especially for your neighborhoods. So let's say that I'm going to hit add and I will do, let's go to, no, I'm going to do this, Richmond, VA. I guess I already have. Let me remove all from list. Refresh this page. Okay, Richmond VA. And I could do Manchester or Richmond Heights. Now, when I go into my keywords, this is where my knowledge of the city is going to come into play. I don't want just homes for sale. I want homes for sale in, let's say, Arts District. Okay. Let's say you're in Phoenix. If I want to have a specialized search or ability for homes for sale in FQ Story or homes for sale in the Encanto neighborhood or Garfield district, right? We know the historic districts of Phoenix or Arcadia, for example, right? Arcadia may or may not pop up as an official neighborhood depending on who you ask, right? Some Google sometimes recognizes it, Apple Maps doesn't recognize it. Same thing with KV Core. So you could do it based on zip code, but you and I both know the zip code, if for those of you in the Phoenix area, for Arcadia is varied. You could go from one side of Arcadia that your price point is 2.5 million, the other side of your price point is 500,000, everything in between. So your knowledge of a specific area, that's where you're going to put in for your SEO. Because people who live locally, they're not going to type in homes for the zip code. They're going to type in homes in the specific neighborhood they want. If they want to be an FQ Store, if they want to be in Conto, if they want to be in any of those. So for Richmond, the Arts District. Another one is homes for sale in the Museum District. Another one is, right, as many as you want. Okay. You could also put HTML. This is going to be a little bit more of the advanced stuff here. Now, the display text, that's where they see it on your page as a clickable item. So the display text is telling you if somebody lands on your page and says the service areas or what is displayed, you could put in, right, homes. And let me do this in the Arts District. So that's going to be the header of the link. So I end up on the website, that's what I will see. And then it's going to bring me up into a result for all those different properties. Okay. For your keywords. Now, this is just for your websites. Of course, if you wanted to create a fully custom search, you could do a couple of things. You could embed a property search and just to make sure I don't lose anybody here. How did I get here? Web IDX. Okay. Website contents. I was in the service areas doing those pages. I could also embed and do more of a fine tune, property search, where I could go in and actually just fine tune it, right? Properties sub $800,000 in Arcadia that are 3,000 square foot or more, which probably doesn't exist, but you get what I'm saying. If I live in an area that has waterfront properties, all waterfront properties sub $1 million, right? That's where you go ahead and build in a true customized search for that specific page. But if I'm looking for ways for people to land on my page just by scouring the internet, that's where you're going to do it based on your pages, your site content and your service areas with these keywords. Okay. So there's a difference. General people looking online, they're looking up homes for sale in the art district. I may land up here. If I want to, once they're on the websites, if I want to have some very specific search parameters, that's when I go into property search in the embed section and put in any of my parameters right here. In a very similar way of how you do it for any of your people in your CRM, right? If they're going to set them up on a custom search, you do the exact same thing, same style. Okay. Another thing is you could throw in a widget. Okay. And these are the clickable links and widgets that pop up automatically on your page. If you are a member on a team and you want to have, links, you could just put in everybody's headshots and meet the team, do all that stuff, right? So that's if you're going to do a little bit more higher end customization. If you have your favorite lenders that you're going to utilize, we're going to throw, Jocelyn and Tim as your go-to experts in title. You could throw them in there as, your contacts on the website as well. Okay, so these are just kind of default widgets that are built in. You don't have to do any customization of them. They're plug and play, but I encourage you to really make it custom, go into and build your own property search parameters there as well. Somebody has asked in the past, let's go to Flex. Like if I wanted to go into my Flex MLS and scroll down to my portal preferences, we all have those of you, I'm pretty sure all of you are Flex users. If I'm mistaken, put that in the chat. And even if you're CoreLogic user, CoreLogic and Matrix are the same functionality, but Flex users, you have your portal, you customize your own little. If you wanted to have things brought back to your Flex, you could go ahead and put in your own URL. The only problem and why I don't advocate for that per se is that that info is only going to be captured here inside of your Flex. Okay, it's not going to be captured in your KB core, which is why I'm not a fan of doing it that way. Okay, so yes, the answer is yes, you can do that. You can just have a Flex search, or if you want to create a test search individual on your Flex MLS, you could do that as well. And it will show on your website, right? It will show like this, but it'll be the Flex MLS landing page, right? It'll look just, let me open up the Flex landing page so we can see it. I have to log in as my test user here. Oh, my mouse is being a little slow. So if I want to put this in as a default search user, oh, might have changed my password recently, huh? Anyways, you guys know what Flex looks like. You'd have all of your search parameters there. It'd pop up here as a page, but if anybody clicks on those properties, it only takes them back to Flex, as opposed to if they click on it here, then they become a lead in your smart CRM. So that's why I don't recommend launching your portal through your KB core. Instead, it's much easier just to create your search. I mean, it's not easy, it's a little bit more laborious, but it yields you more because now you have somebody who has the ability to register or at least pop up as a lead in your database. Okay. All right, we're bumped up against the last couple of minutes. Before, if you have any questions, feel free to start putting them inside of the chat. but I want to just do a high level overview of things you can walk away and do today. A reminder, go to your smart CRM, go into any of your most recent leads or people that you need to talk to, and start testing out your functionality of your smart assistants. So you have your smart assistant call script, you have your smart assistant for text, email, and you can also do core video as an email unless you upgrade. Okay. Unless you upgrade to the $300 a month. So there's that on the smart CRM. And then the customization of your website, WebIDX, go down to pages, create a custom page. And that's where I recommend you go to ChatGPT or Gemini and build some form of simple HTML that showcases either news or information that could live on your website. What's another common thing that people ask when they're moving to a new location? Schools, school information, right? We all know it's a kind of a slippery slope with fair housing regulations and speaking about schools and what's a good school, what's a bad school. So instead, we are the source of the source. Here's a website. It's going to redirect you to different school rankings and different school tools that you can look up, right? Right there, live in the website. You can build a custom HTML for that. The other thing we talked about inside of the website and content, if we go into the embed section, this is where you go ahead and create a very, very specific property search. Now, this is for somebody who already is existing on your websites. To capture them on your websites, that's where you're going to go to site content, go to service areas, type in either the zip codes or the neighborhoods that you do specialize in, and put in your keywords, whether they may be homes for sale, townhomes for sale, condos for sale, golf course properties for sale, right? Whatever is needed for that specific area. Okay. All right. And then Tim has posted, the ChatGPT resources available online. And the good news is once you have a handle on one, you have a handle on another. So once you have a good handle on ChatGPT, Gemini is going to be very easy and vice versa, right? So that's really good. All right, Tim, Jocelyn, I'll pass it back over to you. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. I'll hang out for a little bit, but if not, then I'll give you all the floor.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Amazing information. Thank you so much for the very detailed webinar. We appreciate you and appreciate the information that you've shared. For those of you on the webinar still, if you found value in our webinar today, please consider writing us in on one of your next 3 escrows. We would greatly appreciate that. Jocelyn, got anything else for us?
Yeah, before we go, I would like to let you guys know that this video will be uploaded on YouTube. It should be uploaded by tomorrow. If you guys aren't following us on YouTube already, you could see it on the screen. We have the QR code to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as the QR code to meet the sales and escrow team.
Awesome. All right. Well, looks like we're good. I don't see any other questions in the chat section. So thank you, everyone.
Either that means
Go ahead,
Either
Jimmy.
that means there's way too much information I stunned you, or everything was explained well. I won't take it as the one.
We'll go with the latter.
All right, everybody, take
All
care.
right.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thanks, Jocelyn. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.